Representative McCombie.
Good morning, Speaker. Today I'm joined by Senator Neil Anderson and ask the House to rise in honor of U.S. Navy Captain Dale Gardner. Dale Gardner was many things in his life, and I've been hearing stories and seeing signs and plaques of him throughout my time growing up in Savannah. He went to Savannah High School with my parents and several of those visiting us today and here in the Speaker's Gallery. Taking the long trip to join us today are some of his classmates. Dave Galdo, who was instrumental in drafting this resolution, and his wife Kay. Ruth James, Penny Brown, Don Nichols, Bill Hass, who is also a veteran, and also Todd Swanson with the VFW Post 2223, and Paul Mayer with the American Legion Post of 148. Dale was much more than just a hometown boy from Savannah. He was born in Fairmont, Minnesota on November 8th in 1948 and graduated in Savannah with the class of 1966 as the valedictorian. He then went on to the University of Illinois, where he received his Bachelor of Science in Engineering and Physics and graduated with a 5.0 grade point average. Dale entered into the active duty into the U.S. Navy and graduated from Basic Naval Flight Officer Training School with the highest academic average ever achieved in the history of the squadron. Dale then attended the Naval Air Technical Training Center for Advanced Training, where he was selected as a distinguished naval graduate and was awarded his Naval Flight Officer wings on May 5th of 1971. Over the next several years of training and several awards, Dale was selected as an astronaut candidate by NASA in January of 1978, where he directly reported to the Johnson Space Center. Dale Gardner served as the astronaut project manager for the flight software in the space shuttle of the onboard computers leading up to the first flight of the shuttle in April of 1981. Dale was one of only 330 astronauts ever in the U.S., and he's logged a total of 337 hours in space and 225 orbits around the Earth. In 1986, following 8.5 years with NASA, he returned to his Navy duties and was signed to the U.S. Space Command in Colorado Springs. He retired as captain in October of 1990 and joined the private sector as a program manager in the space and defense industry. 2003, Dale Gardner was named the Associate Director for Renewable Fuel Science and Technology at the National Renewable Energy Laboratory, where he retired January of 2013. Dale was obviously an extremely smart and giving man, and he received many awards in recognition of his service. To name just a few, he received the Defense Superior Service Medal, the Distinguished Flying Cross, the Humanitarian Service Medal, the NASA Space Flight Medal, and the Master Space Badge, and that's just a few of them. In memorial and celebration of Dale Gardner and his amazing life, I am asking the 100th General Assembly to designate the newly constructed Savanna-Sebula Bridge crossing the mighty Mississippi River the Dale Gardner Veterans Memorial Bridge. It is my honor to bring forth the request of his wife and family who could not be here today, but of the class of 1966 who is here to honor this classmate and man for his service and contribution to the United States Navy, NASA, and the overall security of our great nation. Please join me in saying thank you to the late Dale Gardner, who died on February 19th of 2014, by joining me as sponsors and passing House Resolution 58. And I would also like to ask Speaker Lang if he would be willing to consider a moment of silence in Captain Dale Gardner's memory.
Body, take a moment of silence. Lady moves that all House members be added as co-sponsors as their leave. Leave is granted. Those in favor of the resolution will vote yes. Opposed, no. The voting is open. Have all voted who wish. Have all voted who wish. Burke, please take the record, Mr. Clerk. There are 114 voting yes, none voting no, and the resolution is adopted. Thank you, Representative.